Sixers lost to the Kings, man. Not a whole lot of thoughts on this one. They had a decent start to the game. Tyrese Maxey had 21 points in the first quarter. Tobias Harris. You had a good game the other night. Good game against the Clippers. You know, the media, NBC Sports Philly, everybody, every time you have a good game, Tobias Harris is coming out of his slump. Tobias Harris just needs his confidence back. Tobias just needs to get in a rhythm, get put in his all this bullshit, bro, that they've been saying for 5 years. You did the same thing again that you've been doing all 5 years. You had a good game. You follow it up with an absolutely historically fraudulent performance. I mean, just bottom of the barrel, worst of the worst, not even close to being the second worst player on the floor. Not even close. Whenever you have a good game, the very next game, you are absolutely the worst player on the floor. 5 for 15, 12 points, a multitude of turnovers, a multitude of absolute just fraudulence up and down the floor on the defensive side, on the offensive side. And then this guy catches an alley-oop from Tyrese Maxey in the third quarter and misses a wide-open dunk. And it's not like one of those players, it's not like those players that miss dunks like Kelly Oubre where he's trying to poster somebody and he slams it and the ball hits the back of the rim. Or one of those like LeBron James fast breaks where he does a windmill, right, and the ball hits the back of the rim and bounces out. It's not one of those missed dunks because you tried to slam it so hard. Tobias Harris, the first player I've ever seen, 6'9", miss a dunk because he tried to slam it so light. Like I said before, this guy plays the game like he's tiptoeing through somebody's house. It's so soft, it's unbelievable. And I'm just so fucking sick of watching it. We're all Sixers fans, bro. I speak for all Sixers fans. We're all so tired of watching this. Please start the countdown to Tobias Harris no longer being on this team. It's absolute mental torture to watch this guy night in and night out in a 76ers jersey, and you did it to us for 5 years. There's my Tobias Harris rant. Like I said, whenever somebody pulls out that apology form or whatever, I don't have to respond. I just got to sit back and wait a couple games. I know exactly what's happening. It's the same pattern. It's been the same pattern for 5 years. Why would it be any different? The guy is just an absolute fraud. Plays the game scared. It's unbelievable for a max contract player. It's really unbelievable. The highest paid player ever to not make an all-star game. The highest paid player ever to not have a career 40-point game. I mean, the list goes on. It's just ridiculous that this happened to the 76ers. You can add this to the list of things that only happen to the 76ers. Other than that, this Kings game, worst officiated game I've watched this season. I mean, it's not even close. Worst officiated game I watched this season, and I actually jinxed it. I was in the playback stream. We got a call in the first quarter, or early in the second quarter, that was questionable because they were making questionable calls the whole night. And I said, the refs are on our side tonight. And my friend Lee Dabrowski in the playback stream said, don't jinx us. Immediately after I said that, these referees went on a sabotage the 76ers spree. I mean, the series of unbelievable calls that they made right after I jinxed us is remarkable. You couldn't even write something this ridiculous. It started with KJ Martin driving to the rim hard, getting fouled by Domantas Sabonis. The Kings challenged the foul call. The referees, which by the way, I think a challenge is you're challenging the call that's made. Was it a foul or was it not a foul? You should not be able to overturn it into a different call that wasn't made on the floor. That's NBA officials not having any rules. The NBA basically said, listen, let's have challenges. And the referees were like, oh, okay, what are the stipulations? And the NBA was like, oh, there's no stipulations. Just fucking make shit up. Just make up whatever you want. Every time somebody challenges a call, you make up the rules. I've seen so many made-up rules this season by referees reviewing plays, like Steph Curry pushing off, but only marginally. KJ Martin drives to the rim. They say he led with his knee. That's a new rule. That's a new rule in the NBA, just made up tonight on the spot by NBA officials during a review. They said he led with his knee. So when you go up for a layup and you naturally lead with your knee, because that's how jumping works, if the defensive player puts his ball sack in front of your knee, you now have to avoid his ball sack with your knee or it's an offensive foul. That's a rule that was just made up tonight by NBA officials. You now have to do a layup while avoiding the defensive player's ball sack with your knees. Immediately after that, a Paul Reed moving screen that wasn't a moving screen. Then they called something else. Tyrese Maxey got a technical foul. I mean, it was just an onslaught of call after call after call after call. Nick Nurse was screaming. Tyrese Maxey's getting technical fouls. The referees completely took over the game at the end of the second quarter. It was unbelievable. I'm not saying that's why the Kings won this game. The Sixers are undermanned, obviously. We're playing without Kelly Oubre. That's huge. Without Joel Embiid, we play without Kelly Oubre. He's the second best player on the team. Yeah, Tobias. Isn't that crazy? That minimum Kelly Oubre is the second best player on this team? So we're playing without Embiid and Oubre. The referees take over the second quarter. Look, the Kings were the better team tonight. They have, clearly. Their fans were out there acting like they won a fucking playoff game, which is ridiculous. You beat us without Joel Embiid and without Kelly Oubre on a damn back-to-back, and you're out here celebrating like you won a playoff game? Last thing I want to say is, why is Domantas Sabonis such a bitch, dude? Are you kidding me with this guy? Bro, this guy dives on the floor holding his head more than LeBron James. Every single time this guy gets touched, he's on the floor holding his face, crying. What? Embarrassing. Embarrassing, Sabonis. I thought you were this hard-nosed, tough, rebounding. You're a flop artist? You're a flop artist crybaby? I never knew. Everyone in the playback chat's like, he always plays like that. I didn't realize that. That was disappointing to me. So now I hate the Kings and Domantas Sabonis and all of their fans because Domantas played like a fraud, flopped more than James Harden in 2016 to get to the free throw line, and then Kings fans celebrated like they won a playoff game, beating Embiidless and Kelly Oubre-less Sixers on a back-to-back. Last thing I'm going to say is this. DJ Wilson just signed out of the G League, is out here getting rebounds, blocking shots, and hitting threes. DJ Wilson's our best backup center. He was in the G League 37 minutes ago, and he's our best backup center. 10 years of the process, and DJ fucking Wilson is our best backup center. We were at the top of the draft 6 years in a row, And DJ motherfucking Wilson is our best backup center who was just in the G League 2 hours ago. Buddy Hield is shooting 16% from 3 over his last 5 games. And I thought if the Sixers would have won this game on a back-to-back without Embiid and Oubre, that would have been a massive upset. So I didn't expect them to win this game. We'll get Oubre back. Hopefully we get Embiid back. Tobias Harris is an unbelievable level of fraud. Like whoever the biggest fraud is of all time. Like who has embezzled the most money and gone to prison for billions of dollars embezzled? Tobias Harris is a bigger fraud than whoever that guy is. I'm out.